the divine, pure, unconditional love that transcends time and space. Breathe love into you. Remember, you are worthy, you are guided, and you are free. Love, always. An 80-year-old woman sits across from her granddaughter, her weathered hands folding a letter that arrived decades too late. The return address reads from a battlefield that no longer exists, and the sender was her son, who never made it home. But instead of tears, there's steel in her eyes. Instead of despair, there's wisdom. This is the story of how one woman transformed a lifetime of fear into an unbreakable legacy of courage. What you're about to hear isn't just another heartwarming grandmother story. This is about the most powerful lesson ever passed down through generations. A lesson that could change how you face every challenge in your life. Because when someone has lived through economic collapse, buried children, and watched the world burn, then rebuilt it with their bare hands, their advice isn't just wisdom. It's survival, distilled into its purest form. Her name was Eleanor, though everyone called her Nana. Born in 1943, she entered a world already at war. Her earliest memories weren't of lullabies and bedtime stories, but of air raid sirens and her mother's trembling voice, whispering prayers in the darkness. By the time she was 5, rationing wasn't just a policy, it was life. Sugar was a luxury, meat was a dream, and hope? Hope was what kept families alive when everything else ran out. But here's what's remarkable about Nana's story and why it matters to you today. She didn't just survive these experiences, she studied them. Every moment of terror became a classroom. Every loss became a teacher. Every sleepless night became preparation for the battles yet to come. Because life, she learned early, isn't about avoiding fear. It's about dancing with it until you lead. Fast forward to her 20s. The war was over, but peace brought its own challenges. The economy was struggling to find its footing. Jobs were scarce, and the future felt uncertain. Most young people today would call this a crisis. Nana called it Tuesday. She'd learned something that most people never figure out. Uncertainty isn't the opposite of opportunity. Uncertainty is opportunity wearing a disguise. While others waited for things to get better, Nana got to work. She didn't have a college degree, didn't have connections, didn't have capital. What she had was something more valuable, the absolute certainty that action beats anxiety every single time. She started small, taking in laundry for neighbors, then sewing, then cooking meals for working families. Each step was terrifying because each step was new. But terror, she'd discovered, was just excitement without breath control. The real test came in the 60s when her oldest son received his draft notice. Vietnam was calling, and every mother in America felt that cold grip of fear around her heart. Nana was no different. She knew the statistics. She read the newspapers. She understood that sending your child to war meant there was a very real possibility you were saying goodbye forever. But here's where her philosophy revealed its true power. Instead of drowning in what-if scenarios, instead of letting fear paralyze her decision-making, Nana chose action. She couldn't control the war, but she could control her response to it. She organized care packages with other military mothers. She volunteered at the local veterans hospital, preparing herself for any future she might face. She wrote letters to her son every single day, not because she was sure he'd read them all, but because the act of writing them kept hope alive. When the telegram came, it wasn't the one she'd feared. Her son was wounded, but alive. He'd be coming home. But 3 months later, another telegram arrived for their neighbor, then another for the family down the street. Nana held these mothers while they cried. She helped plan funerals for boys who'd barely started living. And through it all, she kept teaching the same lesson to anyone who'd listen. Grief is love with nowhere to go, but love always finds a way forward through action. This brings us to her granddaughter Sarah, sitting in that kitchen on a Tuesday afternoon in 2019. Sarah had just graduated college into an economy that felt impossible to navigate. Student loans were crushing her monthly budget. Job interviews led nowhere. Her relationship had just ended. The future that had once seemed bright and clear now felt dark and uncertain. Sound familiar? Sarah slumped at the kitchen table, overwhelmed by the weight of her own fears. What if she never found a good job? What if she could never pay off her debt? What if she'd wasted 4 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars on a degree that meant nothing? These questions spiraled in her mind like a tornado, each one picking up more debris of doubt and despair. That's when Nana sat down across from her, those weathered hands now reaching for her granddaughter's trembling ones. The conversation that followed wasn't what Sarah expected. There was no gentle consolation, no soft reassurances that everything would work out fine. Instead, there was something much more valuable, truth seasoned with wisdom and served with love. Nana's eyes held decades of experience as she spoke. Fear, she explained, isn't the enemy. Fear is information. It tells us what matters to us. Sarah's fear about her future meant she cared about building something meaningful. Her anxiety about money meant she understood the value of security. Her worry about relationships meant she knew love was important. The problem wasn't the fear itself. The problem was letting fear make the decisions. This is where Nana's philosophy gets revolutionary and why it applies to your life right now, today. Most people think courage means feeling no fear. That's not courage. That's either ignorance or medication. Real courage means feeling the fear completely, acknowledging its presence, thanking it for the information, then choosing your actions based on your values rather than your anxieties. Nana pulled out a notebook, one she'd kept for over 40 years. Page after page contained what she called her fear inventory. Every major decision she'd faced, she'd written down what scared her most about it. Then, right next to each fear, she'd written what action she could take despite that fear, not to eliminate the fear, but to move forward with it as a companion rather than a commander. Looking at her job situation, Sarah's fears were rational. The economy was competitive, her field was saturated, her experience was limited. But Nana asked her a different question. What's one small action you can take today that moves you toward where you want to be, regardless of whether it eliminates your fear? This question changes everything because it shifts focus from feelings to function. Sarah couldn't control whether she felt scared about her future, but she could control whether she updated her LinkedIn profile today. She couldn't eliminate her anxiety about networking, but she could send one email to one professional in her field. She couldn't guarantee success, but she could guarantee effort. The beauty of this approach is that action creates its own momentum. Each small step Sarah took, despite her fear, built evidence that she could handle uncertainty, not by eliminating it, but by proving to herself that she could function effectively within it. This is the difference between fearless and fearless. True fearlessness isn't the absence of fear. It's taking action in the presence of fear so consistently that fear stops controlling your choices. Within 6 months, Sarah had landed 3 freelance projects, not because her fear disappeared, but because she'd learned to let her values drive her actions while her fear rode shotgun. She was still nervous before every client call, still worried about financial stability, still uncertain about the future, but these feelings had become background noise rather than the conductor of her life's symphony. The transformation wasn't just professional. Sarah's relationship with uncertainty itself had evolved. Where once she saw unknown outcomes as threats to be avoided, she now saw them as adventures to be navigated. This shift in perspective, Nana explained, was the real inheritance she was passing down. Not money or property, but a way of thinking that could turn any circumstance into an opportunity for growth. Here's what makes this lesson so powerful for your life right now. We live in an age of unprecedented uncertainty. Technology is changing careers overnight. The economy shifts faster than ever before. Global events impact local lives in ways our grandparents could never have imagined. The old playbooks don't work anymore, and new ones haven't been written yet. This terrifies most people because they're waiting for certainty before they act. They want guarantees, clear paths, sure outcomes. But Nana's generation learned something we've forgotten. Certainty is a luxury that rarely exists. Action is the antidote to fear, not because it eliminates uncertainty, but because it builds your capacity to handle whatever comes. Think about your own life right now. What decision are you avoiding because the outcome isn't guaranteed? What opportunity are you missing because it feels too risky? What dream are you postponing until you feel more ready? Nana's message is simple. You'll never feel completely ready. Readiness is built through action, not through preparation. The most successful people in any field share this trait. They don't wait for fear to subside before they act. They've learned to act while afraid, to move while uncertain, to build while others are still planning. This isn't recklessness, it's wisdom. It's understanding that the cost of inaction is often higher than the risk of action. As Sarah's story continued to unfold, she discovered something profound. The skills she developed by taking action despite fear, the confidence she built by moving through uncertainty, these became her greatest professional assets. Clients didn't hire her because she wasn't afraid. They hired her because she could deliver results even when conditions weren't perfect. This is Nana's final lesson, the one she saved for Sarah's wedding day 3 years later. Fear never completely goes away, and that's actually good news. Fear keeps us alert, keeps us growing, keeps us humble. The goal isn't to eliminate fear, but to change your relationship with it, to see it as fuel rather than a roadblock, to use it as information rather than instruction. Standing in that kitchen, looking at 4 generations of women who had each faced their own impossibilities and overcome them, Sarah understood something beautiful. She was part of a legacy not of fearlessness, but of courage. Not of certainty, but of faith. Not of avoiding hard things, but of doing hard things anyway. That weathered notebook of Nana's now sits on Sarah's desk, pages worn from use. She's added her own fears and actions, her own challenges and victories. Someday, she'll pass it to her daughter, along with the same lesson that changed her life. Action is indeed the best antidote to fear, not because it eliminates the fear, but because it proves that fear doesn't have to eliminate your possibilities. Your story is still being written. What action will you take today? If this message spoke to your heart, please tap the like button and share it with someone you love. I'd be honored to hear your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters here, and if you want to journey with us, subscribe to From Broken Wings to Breaking Free to be notified when new videos drop. Together, we rise.